Hi, beautiful. We're reading today in the text, chapter 12, the Holy Spirit's curriculum. Section 1, the judgment of the Holy Spirit, paragraph 1. You have been told not to make error real. And the way to do this is very simple. If you want to believe in error, you would have to make it real, because it is not true. But truth is real in its own right. I'll pause here and say, if it's real in its own right, then it doesn't need my projection. My perception doesn't change it. And to believe in truth, you do not have to do anything. Wow. Wow. I love that. I love it when the baseline is do nothing. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly, but to your interpretation of it. Wow, that's really powerful. Your interpretation thus becomes the justification for the response. That's interesting. I'm going to pause here and say it's an interesting concept that it's only in your interpretation of the person, place, or event that you're reacting to that is your justification, not reality. That is why analyzing the motives of others is hazardous to you. Wow. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you or desert you or enslave you, you will respond as if he had actually done so, having made his error real to you. To interpret error is to give it power, and having done this, you will overlook truth. The analysis of ego motivation is very complicated, very obscuring, and never without your own ego involvement. I think we can all agree to that. I know I can. The whole process represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. This is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. And they rarely are. I'll just add, they rarely are. You may then control your reactions behaviorally, but not emotionally. Oh, wow. That's a really powerful concept. I'll pause here. Let's talk about that for a minute. So what A Course in Miracles is saying is you might control your behavior. Like, okay, I'm not going to scream at this person. But internally, you're screaming at them because you think they're bad, because you made a judgment based on your past experiences, based on your perceptions, based on your ego that is not making an analysis based on truth, but making an analysis based on very obscuring, as it says here, analysis. So you may then control your reactions behaviorally, but not emotionally. This would obviously be a split or an attack on the integrity of your mind, pitting one level within it against another. There is but one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense. And because it is the Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort at all on your part. Every loving thought is true. Wow. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? I'll pause here and say, let's really sit with that today. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? Because only love is real. And if someone is saying or doing something that is not aligned with love, they are lost in a delusion. And responding to someone who's deluded with anger is in and of itself a deluded response. A Course in Miracles is asking for the sane, those willing to become sane, to do the work, become sane. And in that way, be a way shower. Because in this world, the world of man that is ego-driven, fear-driven, is in short supply of people who are awake to the reality that only love is real and that are unwilling to participate in the delusion of ego anymore. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help. This, of course, doesn't mean that you put yourself in harm's way. This doesn't mean you don't use your wise discernment. We're told in A Course in Miracles that if we allow it, the Spirit will put the words into our mouth that need to be there. We'll know what to say. We'll know how to respond. But we're not doing it from ego because we are host to God and no longer hostage to ego. We have exited the delusion. Every loving thought is true. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to sit with this today. And when thoughts enter my mind that are not true, I will dismiss them. See you soon.